of Labor Fashion Week here in Rochester, New York. Tonight's runway show, Working It, is brought to you by the House of Labor. We're pleased to present our 2018 collection, a strong display of historical, functional, and whimsical clothing unified by the thread of justice. We begin our show with a retrospective nod to the grand dame of labor couture, Mary Parrish Jones, better known as Mother Jones. Born in Cork, Ireland, Mary aspired to become a wife, teacher, and seamstress before ultimately finding her true calling as what one prosecutor named her, the most dangerous woman in America. What's the dress code for that job? And what life experience transformed a good Irish lass from anonymity to becoming one of the most recognized public faces in America in the late 1800s?
It was 1867, and the yellow fever had swept Memphis. One by one, all 4 of my wee children died. I had to wash their bodies and prepare them for burial. Then I lost my husband. The Union married my husband for me, and after that, I returned to Chicago and started a career in dressmaking with a partner. There we worked for the very wealthy, the aristocrats of Chicago. And as I stared out their plate glass windows, looking upon the frozen lake, I saw those that were poor and tired and hungry. And the vast disparity of where I sat, looking at those people, made me very sad. It was in 1871, the Great Fire of Chicago, where we lost everything we had. It was from that moment on that the labor rights became my life's work.
Whoa, that's a rough start. It certainly explains the black dress and prematurely white hair. But this woman had not an ounce of self-pity. She threw herself into organizing workers who were virtually enslaved during the Gilded Age. Mother Jones was a witty storyteller, not averse to using drama or a little profanity.
Damn it!
Her vintage Victorian fashion look was intentional. She knew the value of branding herself as a grandmotherly matron. Early on, she assumed the persona of Mother Jones by claiming to be 7 years older than she actually was, by wearing out-of-date matronly dresses, and referring to the male workers she worked with as her boys. She dressed for success, and it worked. Her look kept her from arrest until she was 72 years old, and perhaps kept her from being murdered as so many other organizers of that time were. Let's face it, every organizer needs a little black dress. Well, maybe not Dan Maloney.
Organizing work in the coal fields was not easy or safe. Me men who joined the Union were blacklisted. Their families were thrown out on the highway. Men were shot. Many went missing with no trace of them to be found. Storekeepers were ordered not to sell to the Union men or their families. Our meetings had to be held in the woods, at night, in abandoned mines and in barns. We were freezing cold and living only on dry bread.
In the field, Mother Jones at times did not remove her clothing for many days on end, unsure of when she would be forced out of a lodging or arrested. A little perfume, what's the problem? Our next look is seriously fashion forward, shabby chic day wear, which was inspired. Is this right? Our next look is seriously fashion forward, shabby chic day wear inspired by Mother Jones as she worked with striking coal miners. The look is best suited for scab chasing and mule scaring.
In Arnott, Pennsylvania, a coal strike had gone on for 4 to 5 months. The men were becoming discouraged, and I went there to bolster me boys. The company tried to bring in scabs. I told me men to stay home with the children and let the women attend to the scabs. I organized an army of housekeepers. They brought their mops and brooms, and the army would charge the scabs into the mine. I decided not to go to Dripmouth myself, for I knew that they would arrest me. So I selected a leader, an Irish woman who had the most picturesque appearance. She slept late, and her husband told her that she had to hurry and get in the army. Her garb was remarkable. Her face was red. Her eyes were mad. I looked at her and felt she could raise a rumpet.
Mother says to me, you lead the army up to the Dripmouth. Don't be afraid of anyone. Up the mountainside, I led the women. And when the mules came, and the scabs, and with the coal, I began beating on my dishpan! And hollering, and the army joined in with me, and the sheriff tapped me on the shoulder. He said, ma'am, remember the mules, don't scare them. I took the pan and hit him with it! And then I hollered,